Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Zach Molzer from the Johnson County office. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to the entire Central region, everyone that supported me over the past year, especially Buddy Boyd, Samantha Shelton, and everybody in the Johnson County office. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about selling to Cutco owners and then upgrading. So this is something that I look forward to, speaking on this every time that we have our own Champs Clubs or meetings like that. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you guys. Alrighty. So like I said, my name is Zach Molzer from the Johnson County office. And this past year in 2020, I sold a little over $100,000 worth of Cutco. It's been the greatest year of my life, and it was a blast. And I'm excited to see what 2021 has in store. So selling to Cutco owners and upgrading. So there are 3 C's to Cutco owners and 3 C's to the success that you'll have. So first is going to be the cranium. You guys might be thinking like, oh, why are we talking about, talking about science? We don't need to learn about that. We're selling knives. Well, the cranium, that's going to be your head, your mindset that you have. The next is going to be the conversations and the rapport that you build with Mrs. Jones and Mr. Jones throughout the entire presentation and demo. And then lastly is closing, your touchdowns. You're making sure that they get everything that they need and everything that they want. So let's dive into the first one. So talking about the cranium, so your mindset. So it all starts on the phone. That's where this whole job and everything begins, is when you're phoning. Phone jams should not be fun, but they should, bring really good memories and bring really good excitement to you. So first thing you hear on the phone, you're calling Mrs. Jones. You go through your whole script, and their first objection is, yeah, well, I already have Cutco. Stop. That should get you so pumped. That gets me so pumped. Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, baby, it's over. It's game over. As long as I can book a demo with them, I know it's going to be an auto sale every single time, because Cutco owners are the best owners. You don't have to try to pitch them. You don't have to pitch them on like, oh, this is why it's good. Here's how you compare it to other knives. You can skip all of that because they already know what it's like. They already know why the product is superior. They know it's expensive, but they know it's worth it. So every single time you get in front of a Cutco owner, they will most likely buy something. And then the next thing I think about is your mindset is, what do we sell? Okay, they have Cutco, but we don't just sell knives. We sell flatware. We sell, most of the time, we sell sporting knives. We sell cookware. We don't sell just knives. So Mrs. Jones could say, yeah, we'll already have some Cutco knives. They don't have everything. So there's always room for more. Even if they do have everything, gifts, and even just thinking bigger. So customer gifts, client gifts, anything like that. Mr. or Mrs. Jones might work in a business where they sell gifts, or their company does gifts for their employees. You can mention that when you do the demo. Or for their kids. Everyone's going to get married eventually. So, why not get your kids Cutco today? So just thinking bigger, your mindset needs to be there. You don't want to have a closed off mindset thinking, oh, well, I know they don't make a lot of money, so they already have a couple pieces. I don't know if they buy a full set. Close off your mindset. Don't think like that. You need to be thinking every single time I go into a demo, I'm thinking, oh, baby, they're buying a complete set. How many complete sets have I sold? I'm 100,000 in career sales. I've sold one ultimate set. But I go into every demo thinking I'm going to sell it, and I don't, but I sell them a lot of signature sets. So just changing your mindset to think bigger with every Cutco owner, and even just every other demo that you book in general, it'll change the way that your CPO and your sales and everything works. Next one is going to be the conversation. So there's 3 keys to this. It's going to be time frame, feelings, and then your key phrases. So time frame, to start out with that. So when you're on the phone with them, oh, great. Yeah, Mr. Jones, how do you like your Cutco? So how long have you had it? You definitely want to build rapport and talk about how long they've had it, when they got it, where they got it, how they got it, all of that. So knowing that is really important, because if they have had it for less than 6 months, great. If they've had it for 20 years, great. Either way, it just makes them talk about it, and making them talk about Cutco and bring back all the memories of them cutting stuff up in the kitchen and all that. It gets them thinking, the ball rolling automatically. The next one's going to be the feelings. I don't think I've ever met a Cutco owner that has anything negative to say about Cutco. But you want to bring that up. You want to be like, oh, how are you liking your Cutco? Do you guys use it a lot? Are you enjoying it? Or if they don't own it and they got it for someone, they bought it before, oh, do you know if they like it? All that. You want to get them talking and hyping up Cutco, because again, it just positive reinforcement. It gets them thinking like, oh, okay, like I remember how good my Cutco is. It's a blast to use. The next one is going to be key phrases. So there's a bunch of different key phrases that I'll go through at the end. But some of the key phrases I use when I'm talking about just building rapport and conversation is I figure out what pieces that they have. So if I'm on the phone with them talking, like, oh yeah, so you have Cutco, that's great. Do you know what you have? Do you have just like a couple pieces? Do you have a set? Whatever it is, I always say, even if I haven't even booked the demo yet, keep this in mind. So I'm on the phone with them, figuring out what piece they have. I go, okay, yeah. And by the way, before the demo, I'll have you send me a picture of all the Cutco that you have. That way we can save a little bit of time. I haven't even booked the demo yet. I say that before I even book the demo because that gets them thinking like, oh yeah, I'll send them a picture. But they haven't even booked the demo with me yet. So after I say that, then we find a time to do the demo. But it gets rid of any objection right there. You should never not book a demo with a Cutco owner because they're going to buy something. And if they don't, they know a lot of people that enjoy Cutco, like Cutco, everything like that. Cutco owners also get the best referrals. So talking about the time frame and how long they've had it, their feelings, their general thoughts, your feelings and general thoughts, and then also making sure you say some key phrases to get the ball rolling into before you even get to the demo. Last one, close. So when you're closing with Cutco owners, it's the easiest close ever. You really don't, like I said, you don't have to sell them on it again. You just have to convey to them why they need it. So that's last bullet point is get more Cutco, get more Cutco to complement your other pieces, not to replace. So an objection that could be had over the phone or throughout the demo could be, yeah, I don't really need any more Cutco. Like, why? I thought they last forever. I thought I don't ever have to replace them. Yeah, Mr. Jones, I totally feel what you're saying, but getting more Cutco, more pieces, or even some other stuff like the flatware or cookware, you're not getting it to replace. You're getting it to complement your other pieces. That way you have every single tool in your inventory. You'll never have to run out or anything like that. You'll have every single tool at your disposal. So some of the things that we have, obviously, we have cookware, we have flatware. Why we got to show that every single time. Most time Cutco owners don't even know that we have cookware. I would say 75% of the time they're like, oh, I didn't know you had cookware. Sell them on that. Sell them on the upgrade to the Cutco kitchen. Upgrade set. So talking about upgrading their set. So once you find out, let's say they have a homemaker set, right? I know in the back of my head, I know exactly what they do not have upgrading to a signature set. So if they were looking at a signature set, I know that they don't have the Petite Santoku. I know they don't have the super shears. I know they don't have the Hardy slicer. I know they don't have the cheese knife. So those are the 4 tools that I know that are in a signature set that they don't have. My main selling point on upgrading is steak knives, though. Steak knives, steak knives, steak knives. That's where the CPO is at, and that's where they have the most fun. The steak knives, in my opinion, are the most versatile and the best knife that we make, and I'm so good at selling them because I use my steak knives every day. I use it. I feel it. I know how good they are, and I know the value that it brings to me and my family, so I convey that to my customers. So I would say Cutco owners tend to not have either the table knives or steak knives, but let's say they have the table knives. Great. Mrs. Jones, so you have an ultimate set with table knives? Oh, that's awesome. I'll have you just send me a picture of that so you can see. Okay, great. So the table knives are great. You know, they're rounded tip, all of that makes it easy to spread, everything like that. They're a little bit smaller though. Have you seen our steak knives before? Yeah, so these things are a tank. So I compare the steak knives and table knives to like a truck and a car. So they're both going to get you to the same place. The truck just has a little bit more room. It's a little bit more rugged. It's a little bit bigger. So the trucks, aka the steak knives, in my house are used every day. There's 3 of us. There's my dad, my mom, and me. We have the signature set right now, and we have 10 steak knives that come with it. How many do you think are going to be in my drawer at a time? You would think 7, right? You know, that adds up. No, never. I don't think I've ever seen more than 3 in our drawer because we're always using them. We're always just, oh, I got to cut up something, grab a steak knife. I got to open up a package, grab a steak knife. So the table knives are great, but let me show you what this option, it's called the Build a Set program, what you can do with the steak knives instead. So stop right there. Steak knives. Why am I talking about the steak knives so much? Because they are another $900, aka another 750 CPO that you sell them on. Even if they have the table knives, they still can get the steak knives because then you can change the mindset of that being like, oh yeah, your table knives will be used for your everyday meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you can bring out the steak knives when you have company over or, you know, a special occasion, stuff like that. If they don't have the table knives, I don't sell them the table knives. I sell them the steak knives. And then the table knives then become my drop down. You see how that works? So if they're looking at a complete or a signature set, I don't even mention that we have table knives for those sets. I'll talk about the complete set and the signature set with the steak knives. And then if they're like, if they don't like the price on that. That's one of their objections. What do? I don't drop down from the signature set to the homemaker set. I drop down from the signature with steak knives to the signature with table knives because it adds one more layer. So as you guys know, it takes 8 no's on average to make a yes. So if I start with the homemaker set, let's say, and then I go down to the galley, and then the essentials, and then the studio, and then the 5-piece, and then from there, okay, cool. They'll get 3 to 4 pieces, let's say. But if I start at the complete set with steak knives, and then I go down to the complete set with table knives, and then the signature set with steak knives, and then the signature set with table knives, and then the homemaker set, I'm eliminating so many different smaller sets. I'm starting bigger, therefore I'm going to close bigger. And so the steak knives really need to be everyone's focal point in selling to Cutco owners, and even in your demo in general. If they're looking at a bigger set, pretend the table knives do not exist until they throw you an objection, because the steak knives are where we're at. And just building the value on the steak knives. Like I said, for me, it's easy because I use it every day, and I have a passion for using them. It makes life fun. And so because I have that like value, because I value it, Mrs. Jones is going to feel that through the Zoom call. She's going to be like, okay, this kid is 19 years old and he's oddly excited about Cutco steak knives. Like, that's kind of weird. So you just build the value. And so whatever you enjoy, convey that to Mrs. Jones and Mr. Jones, and you'll close almost every single time. So diving into some of the key phrases I use. So notice this. So I say, how many steak knives, Mrs. Jones, do you think would be sufficient for your family? I don't say how many table knives would be sufficient. I don't say, yeah, so the Homemaker 8 plus 8 comes with 8 steak knives. If you were considering a set of Cutco, would you prefer a set with or without the table knives? I don't say that line. I say, so yeah, Mrs. Jones, if you were considering a set of Cutco, how many table knives or steak knives do you think would be sufficient for your family? Because I'm not asking if they want the steak knives or table knives. I'm asking how many do they think they need? So right there, that eliminates one objection already, because I'm not asking them if they would use the table knives or steak knives. I'm asking how many they would use. Obviously, if they say 10 to 12, game over, signature set, ultimate set, you can close on those. If they say, oh, well, there's only 2 of us, so I don't know, maybe 4. Okay, yeah, Mr. Jones, I completely understand. 4 is great. You'll have 4 for 2 for the dishwasher, 2 that you'll be using, and then 4 more for another guest come over. So let's take a look at this homemaker set. Bingo, every time. And then, like I said earlier, so to make the demo a little bit quicker, Mr. Jones, can you send me a picture of all the Cutco you currently have? That's just one way to get the ball rolling. That way they're like, oh, okay, God, thank God it won't take 30 minutes. When I'm seeing a Cutco owner, I don't go through the whole presentation. I don't make them watch the videos because they already have it. I figure out what they have, what they don't have on my own time, and then I show them what they don't have and why they need it. Another great thing to say is, Mr. Jones, you'll never have to think about kitchen stuff ever again. So I know you already have some Cutco, but this is, our complete set, our complete kitchen. So the flatware, the cookware, and the full set of knives. You'll never have to think about your kitchen ever again. You can pass it down from generation to generation. It'll always be in your family. Another objection that you might get is, this happens all the time. You'll be on the phone with them, phoning, and they'll be like, yeah, I already have Cutco. I have everything. I have everything. You'll hear that a lot. Oh, I have everything. Do you think they have everything? Probably not. I've ran across one person, and I don't even know how many demos I've done ever, but I've ran across one person that legitimately had everything. I still sold them something because their kids don't have everything. But what you can do to counter that is be like, oh, that's awesome that you have everything Cutco. So we actually just came out with some new stuff. Plus, I get paid just to do the demo. So what time would work better for you? 1:30 on Monday or about 3:30? It counters it every time. And even if we don't necessarily have some new stuff, I guarantee you go through that whole demo, there'll be something that they're like, oh, I didn't know you have that. It just happens. So don't ever think, oh, well, they have everything, so that's an excuse for me not to book a demo with them. Because 9 times out of 10 or more than that, they don't have everything. It's pretty hard to have everything, especially right now when we aren't even making our hunting or sporting knives. And then the last thing I always say to really close it out, especially if they're giving me a ton of objections on buying more, I always just throw in the gifts and the kids. So Cutco is the cheapest it will ever be right now. I don't know if you guys knew this, but 10 years ago, a homemaker set was less than $900. Today, it's $1,326. So right now is the cheapest Cutco will ever be. It's the only thing in your kitchen, Mrs. Jones, that's going to inflate in price every single year. So I know your kid's 10 years old, but right now is actually the best time to buy Cutco for them because it's going to be the cheapest it's ever going to be. So you make that small investment right now, and in 10 years when they're getting married, let's say, you'll have already just saved yourself $500 just by buying it today. Yeah, I know it might collect dust for a little bit, but don't you think that'd be the smart thing to do to save some extra money right now? So let me show you what a starter set would look like. Bingo, every single time. Selling to Cutco owners should not be hard, and it isn't hard. You don't need to make it hard. You need to just find what they need, find what they enjoy, and make them smile, make them laugh. The more that they laugh and the more they smile throughout the demo, the easier it's going to be. The more that you feel like you're not trying to sell them something, you're just trying to help them see a product, and just have fun with it. Selling Cutco does not feel like a job to me. It is a hobby because it is so much fun showing all these different people Cutco. And the highlight of my day every day is selling to Cutco owners because I know it's going to be, the easiest demo throughout the day. I know it's most likely going to be one of the higher CPO orders throughout the day. And I generally have the most fun with them because I don't have to dive into all the nicks and crannies of, oh, well, we have the thermoresin handles and we have this and that and this. I don't have to dive into that because they know and they appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for taking time to see this. I hope you guys kill it. I know, I just know we got done with our push, but let's go back out there and have your own other personal push. Let's see what you can do in 1 week. Push yourself. Don't slack down. You're getting all this great content today, so why not put it into action? So let's go sling some blades. And thank you guys so much for taking time to see the presentation and to see everything that all the different tips and everything like that I have. So again, thank you so much to everyone. Let's go kill it out there. All right. Godspeed.